66 points on offer for the Auto Action Fast Time. Here comes Brett Squires, building up momentum now. As he gets the green, he comes off at turn 4. Time clock ticking away now on Brett Squires. In the number 17 car now, shoots it out at 2. Nice clean exit, runs it down the back straight away, looking for the optimum grip, set the car early for 3, brings it out of 4, little sideways off of 4. Time clock stops at 14.764 for Brett Squires, a 14.764. The number 17 car, Brett Squires now. This is his final lap at Fast Time. The fastest lap counts. Brett Squires now stops the clock at a 14.808, a 14.808. Here comes 16-year-old sensation, 44, Joel Knott.
As he charges down the main straight, now into corners 1 and 2. Very steep learning curve this year. In his rookie season last year, he qualified in 7 out of 9 A mains up at Parramatta. But as he comes around now, he's recorded 14.391. 14.391 for the 16-year-old. Trying to tame this 430-metre clayway this evening. Pitches it in, looks pretty straight as he comes out of turn number 4. And a 14.472, so about a tenth of a second slower on his second circulation.
Andrew Shirley out now. The number 95 car out of Toowoomba in Queensland. Give it a boot full through 1. Wheel spin happening out of 2. Had the car a little loose, as you can see. Still got it loose as he had it up over the push on turn 2. He stops the clock at a 14.563. This isn't a real sharp run out of Andrew Shirley. You can see the steering wheel working very, very hard on the number 95 car. That's a 14.272, a 14.272 for Andrew Shirley. This is Brad Hayward out now on the racetrack in the former Freddie racing car. Campaign at Parramatta last year. Brad Hayward, former World Series Sprint Car champion. Puts a wheelie out of turn 2. Ran it down the back straightaways, not mucking around. Watched a little speed through 3. Had it sideways. As you can see, this is a handful for Brad Hayward with a 15.174. A little bit smoother that time out of turn 2. Shoots it down beside the quit sign at his last run of the Auto Action Fast Time. As you can see, an enormous amount of wheel spin coming off of 4. 14.798 for Brad Hayward. He's a second faster than that. This guy is awesome.
Yep, he's coming around now out of turn number 4. Of course, one of South Australia's favourite sons when it comes to sprint cars. It is Phil March, but the time to beat at this stage, as far as I can see, is Andrew Shirley with a 14.272. Marchie runs it into turn number 3, past the Speedway City sign. Runs a little wider coming out of 4. A 14.7 neat. 14.700. Hard on that hammer once again as he works the 3-4 bend. Trying some revolutionary rear suspension componentry this season. We'll see how it goes tonight. A 14.382. That's pretty well up there thus far as the Wavell Speedway Promotions Managing Director guns it past the start-finishing line. Of course, Mr. Mark Gilbert is his name.
Doing a great job now, Mark Gilbert. Had the car a little soft off at 2, runs it down the back straightaway. This is a good run from Mark Gilbert. He's got this car hooked up. Former Garry Rush chassis car. He runs a 14.584, a 14.584. The number 5 Freight Master car now of Mark Gilbert. This is his final time at the Auto Action Fast Time here at round 4. World Series Sprint Cars. Brings it off for 4 now. He'll stop the clock. And is he just going to make it? A 16.581. Luckily for... whoa. Toddy Wanless shooting the car straight at him and just saw him in time. And unfortunately for Mark Gilbert, he has got a problem.
You can see Todd Wanless, current Australian champion, getting fairly keen to get on with the job, but not a good start at all for Mark Gilbert. Rear wheels just locked up as he came out of turn number 4, but this time the green flag has been given to Todd Wanless, current Queensland Sprint Car champion, current Oz 1, and this series, of course, this year, he is campaigning the entire World Series Quid Sprint Car Championship. Through he comes in a 14.140. That would be quickest unofficially thus far. Wanless has finished inside the top 3 in an Australian Sprint Car Masters at this track. Here he comes. Should be a good one. 14.160. Todd Wanless, the current national champ, the man to beat so far.
Superb fast time. Here comes Wayne Robert Bunker. Have a look at Bunker in the number 2 car. Wayne Bunker out now. Brings it off at 2. Needs to carry a bit more speed down the back straightaway. Had a little bit loose mid-corner and loose coming off at 4. Stops the clock at a 15.337. A 15.337 for Wayne Bunker now. She shoots it down the back straightaway, up into loose stuff. Could have even kissed the wall. Brings it off for 4 now, as you can see. The car on the point of no return, a 15.005. A 15.005 for Wayne Bunker. Similar car out. This is Trevor Green.
Here comes Trev out of the 4th turn. He'll stand on it down the main chute. A real family effort, this one. The brothers Green, of course, Steve, Trevor, and Daryl, the crew chief, who has spent the past 10 months, I think, over in the US of A, crew chiefing for Jack Hordenshield and Pennzoil Racing. Trev comes through in a 14.199. A great effort, 14.199. That comes up against Todd Wanless's 14.140. Can Trev go a smidgen quicker? Pretty smooth. Hammers it through in a 14.254 for the second circulation. Well done, Trev.
Dave McFadden from the Northern Territory now in the number 77 Shell Helix car. Dave McFadden campaigning this car for the first time on World Series. Had the car a little loose off at 2. It's a better run out of 4 for him. He stops the clock at a 14.419, 14.419. There's a lot of consistency in these times. 14.419 so far for Dave McFadden. Brings it off turn 4 now. His final shot at auto action fast time, 66 points on offer here this afternoon. A 14.043. A 14.043. He stopped the clocks out on his last lap. That gives him fast time.
I don't know, I think we still had Todd at 14.140, Jim. But yep, you're correct there. 14.043, of course, does shadow that. So McFadden certainly does know how to get around this track. And now as we pick up the WA 95 car, it is Daryl Cricky working hard into turn number 3. He'll work it down, just gets out of the bucket there for a moment. 14.693. You see there's quite a bit of traction on offer through the 1-2 bend. He'll shoot it past the Rick Cobby transport sign and back into the northern arc, past the pit stand. Checkered flag is at the ready. And a 14.619, so good consistency.
That shows a very well prepared racetrack to have all these times consistent as they are. Max Dumesny now, the number 5 car. This is the JSR car. Max Dumesny now. Just had a little trouble through 1-2. Got the car ironed out for back straightaway. Carry the speed now out of turn 4, which this just doesn't look like a good time for Max. That's a 14.902. 14.902. You know, some guys can time trial and some can't. Max's better attribute is to run 30 laps, not 2, and it takes a lot to get your head around and run a fast time. 14.688, a 14.688 for Max Dumesny now. Mark Reuter, the number 95 ROH Wheels car, out on the racetrack, and his shot, auto action fast time.
Works down into corner number 1. A little bit of understeer out of the second corner. He'll keep it percolating as he brings it now out of the 4th corner. We'll watch the World Series Sprint car timer, 14.649. They appear to have the setup working pretty well, as you can see, mid-corner, just a fraction of understeer. So it is driving pretty hard. Here's the timer, 14.521. So a marginal improvement there for Mark Reuter. He'll now head to the infield.
Wild moment for Jamie Cobby off a 4. Number 16 Jarvis Ford car. That probably cost him a little bit of momentum and looks to have a problem. He's got it ironed out now. 15.167. 15.167 for Jamie. That's an ordinary lap, we all know that, but now here he comes. He'll pick this up very, very quickly. With a 15.183, a 15.183 for Jamie. This is in the racetrack now, I think. Scott Milling is Scott Milling now out on the racetrack.
Milling, the Kalgoorlie Terrier, now exits the second corner past the ICI Auto colour sign. He'll work it hard down into turn number 3. Of course, foreign territory, to the best of my knowledge, has not raced here at this track in the past. 15.198. We're seeing a few of the times just slowing down, but crystal clear indication of how the track's holding up will come out next, with Brooke Tatnell getting set to grace us with his presence. Current World Series Sprint Car Champion, a 15.038. And here comes the man who really did set the championship alight, broke plenty of records last season, and he'll be aiming for more of the same tonight.
The number 8 Shell Halex car now of Brooke Tatnell. Very smooth through 1 and 2 now, runs it down the back straightaway. This car looks to be in awesome shape. You can hear him just working the throttle as he has his shot at fast time. 14.668. 14.668 for Brooke Tatnell. That puts him in the middle of the pack time-wise at this, his second run, auto action fast time. And looks to be slowing down horrifically through mid-corner with a 14.593. 14.593 for Brooke Tatnell. Fast time still to beat. We have a 14.043. That's McFadden as Garry Rush out on the racetrack now.
Let's watch the Master Blaster in action in the Castrol Maxim. You're watching a true champion at work as he pedals it through turns 3 and 4. Silky smooth out of the 4th turn and a 14.330. 14.330 for Mr. Garry Rush as he once again approaches the 3-4 turn. Hovers it in, half a car length up from the gutter. Very precise at a 14.300 for Rushy on the second lap.
Young Marty Perovic out now from Parramatta, the number 52 car. Down the back straight away now, Marty Perovic. First time here at Speedway Park. Has it a little loose off turn 4, gathered it together. You saw the weight transfer across the car and a bit on the left rear where he had to get it back in shape to bring it off a 4. That was a 15.993, a 15.993 for young Marty Perovic. That's a better line for him as he brings it off at turn 4 this time round. And he stops the clock at a 14.995. 14.995 out on the racetrack. Dennis Burford in his return to World Series Sprint Car Racing.
There's the green flag for Dennis as he works his car out of the second corner now. You can see he's just making sure he keeps it nice and straight. He'll probably ease it through turn number 4, which is still quite slippery as he nails it down past our vantage point of 15.353. By no means disgracing himself as he runs the Lightning Karts machine, the Maxim chassis, out of the final turn and down the main straight. A 15.462 for Dennis Burford second time around. But here comes the FAI J&J chassis of Barry Lawrence.
Very strong Billman engine in the car now. Barry Lawrence shoots the car down the back straight. A former touring car, modified rod driver and now sprint car driver of some note in Queensland, brings it off a 14.133, a 14.133. The Queenslanders are quick here at Speedway City tonight. Oh, he had it loose off at turn 4, kissed the West End sign as he brought it off turn 2 now, out of 4 this time, and he stops the clock at a 14.076, a 14.076. That is a good time out of Barry Lawrence on the racetrack, Alan Haynes.
By my calculation, second quickest thus far for Barry Lawrence, the man with that beautiful setup transporter wires in the pits. Sure, a lot of you have already checked it out in the past, but it's an absolute treat. Haynes, who did qualify for the trophy dash at one of the first 2 rounds in the West, now brings his vehicle down towards Scott McIntosh, our finisher, 14.565 first time around. And we'll be watching for the elapsed time as he completes his auto action quest for fast time. Plenty of power there, 14.403. So an improvement, a tenth of a second at least, as Pete Smith guns it into turn 1.
Pete Smith out on the number 8 Highway in colour type labels car now. Been running very, very strongly in the points car so far at World Series. Has run the West Australian rounds. Here comes Smith. He stops the clock at a 14.577, a 14.577. Entry on turn 1 a little wide. That gives him a wider one off at 2. That's a better, easier entry. Mid-corner speed good. He carries the speed now out of 4 and runs it down for a 14.748. A 14.748, Skip Jackson.
He was the king of Claremont last weekend. He'll be attempting to become the king of Speedway City tonight. For Gibson Freight and Skilled Engineering, the Gambler chassis of Skip Jackson. He's been over in the US of A, finished 3rd in the track championship at Knoxville. That followed up on his big victory at Parramatta City Raceway. And that track championship down the main chute for a 14.023. Fast time unofficially, 14.023. The man they sometimes refer to as Action. It's Skip Jackson nailing it out of 4, a 14.291. Great effort.
Consistency in those 2 times. John, this is Anthony Lambert now, the number 77 car, Maxim chassis car. With a very strong Alan Falsh engine in it. Anthony Lambert out now running World Series. Put the car in very, very early into 3. That gives him a low-down exit out of 4. Stops the clock at a 15.087. 15.087. This is where the action is. The number 77 car of Anthony Lambert now making his shot at the auto action. Fast time trialling here this afternoon at round 4, Speedway City. He stops the clock this time round with a 15.276, a 15.276 for Anthony Lambert.
Remember, tonight is pretty much a new ball game. A lot of the clay has pretty much been taken out of this circuit. It's more of a sandy type mixture because the bikes and the speed cars and the side cars have been running here quite a bit so far this season. So even for the locals, they may have had to adjust themselves setup-wise. 14.976 for Darryl Downing. A very experienced South Australian, as many of you know, running on a pretty tight budget. Exits the 4th turn. There's the checkered flag away from Scott McIntosh. An improvement of 14.832 as we watch another South Aussie work his way out of pit turn, and he'll be accepting the green any second now.
Tony Bartlett out of the number 75 car. Budget racer Tony Bartlett puts his heart and soul into the sport, and now he fires the car out of 2 down the back straight away. Little loose on 3 he had. It was car all unsettled through mid-corner and 4. He stops the clock at a 15.443, a 15.443 for Tony Bartlett now. A little bit more gently this time through 3. There just could be a loose patch in 3. 15.326 for Tony Bartlett. It just could be a little loose up there on the entry through 3, John.
Yeah, it does look to be rather slippery coming out of turn number 4. We've watched some different lines. Some drivers adopting to run on the very slight cushion that's formed a couple of lengths down. Others opting to get it right on the gutter. But don't be too alarmed, folks, about Tony Bartlett, because it's pretty much a case of deja vu. Remember, he did this last season, then won both his heats and ended up in the dash. There's Nitro Nathan, 14.450. 14.450. It's the Bundaberg Bullet. Nathan McDonald in the Schnee. Almost had it. Full lock out of turn number 4, and a 14.882 is the time.
That was Nathan having a go now. The number 6 car of Mike Van Bremen, former Super Sedan pilot now, 360 driver last year and up with the big boys this year. 700 horsepower on tap. Mike Van Bremen runs the car down the back straight away. The number 6 car out of Victoria stops the clock at a 15.184. 15.184 for young Van Bremen. Oh, loose off at 2. Gee, looked like meeting the wall there for a minute. That upset his entry through 3. Brings him off a 4 now. Racetrack starting to slicken up a little bit as he stops it with a 14.637.
That was
good
okay.
Run. Good run for young Van Bremen. This is David Anderson, the number 37 car, running for Wagga Mobile Cranes and At-Rad Radiators.
The 41-year-old representing the Albury-Wodonga region campaigns hard down the back chute. Very nearly rubs the right rear up against the concrete. Keeps it low. This one looks pretty good. No, a 14.821 just appeared to overpower the track coming out of turn number 4. Up until then, the lap looked very good. Now into turn number 3. You could sense there not quite as much gas. A 14.733 for the Albury Express, David Anderson.
Out on the racetrack now. Colin Bulmer running the number 23 car, and he shot at auto action fast time. Colin Bulmer Running the Victoria number 23 car now. Very well presented car. Brings it off a 4. He will stop the clock at 15.476. A 15.476 for Bulmer. Last to come off will be the 88 car of Danny Smith. That will be our last time trialling car as Colin Bulmer comes through 3 now. Brings it off a 4 for his final shot at fast time. The number 23 car stops the clock at a 15.226. A 15.226 for Colin Bulmer. Here comes Danny.
The last man to have a crack at auto action fast time this evening in the J&J Les Harrower owned sprint car. It is Danny Smith. Hard at it down the back. He'll work it into turn number 3. Let's watch him in action. You can hear he's not quite giving it full throttle. 14.547. Perhaps that is just the wind up. He'll be looking with more momentum as you see him keeping it pretty tight out of 2. Let's watch him now past the pit stand. Now he'll open it right up. 14.453 for his second lap. 14.453. So as we check out some of the times, I'd say unofficially that Skip Jackson has done it, Jim, with a 14.023. And Dave McFadden, the Northern Territorian, what a surprise package, 14.043. Had that thing hooked up.
Yeah, he had it hooked well, didn't he? It just goes to show you that you don't need mega horsepower on tack. And Alan Haynes, 5th line, Rush, Wanless, 6th line on his own. Skip Jackson as we go racing now. We have a start. Green light on. Jamie Cobby now is electric down the back straight away. And I got to tell you, we have a problem. Orange lights on this time round. I'll get some information for you. Car's now rolling to be reformed.
And I can sense to be one pretty frustrated pilot about to be sent to the rear of the field. As the board comes out, you get 2 chances. Being told now to go to the rear. And that now is a devastating blow to the Jarvis Ford team. A chance to have become a hero maybe with 25, but now back to 0 and coming off the rear.
Sensation mounts already in this first heat. Now we have Dennis Burford and Hayward drag it down the front straight away. Green light stays on this time round. Our race leader Hayward, the mover in the pack already. Tatnell, followed by Dennis Burford, Wayne Bunker. Past our commentary position, Hayward, Tatnell, Burford, Bunker, Alan Haynes. Max Dumesny working the high line as he comes down the outside of Alan Haynes down the back straight away. The number 5 car, the blue and white bubbling car of Max Dumesny. Here comes Max. The race out ready out in front. Brad Hayward gone, Tatnell gone. Burford running in 3rd, Wayne Bunker, Max Dumesny. Look at Todd Wanless working over the inside of Alan Haynes. The blue number Australia 1 car is really starting to work his way through the pack also. Rush and Skip Jackson languishing at the back of the pack. Hayward, Tatnell, Burford, Bunker, Dumesny down the back straight away. Todd Wanless has broken clear of the 2 red cars now as we get set. The action running here for 3rd, 4th, 5th and 6th. Burford running in 3rd. Sensational racing action already with the race leader Hayward, Brooke Tatnell 2nd.
Obviously Hollywood would not be able to believe his luck at present. Was able to move up to the front row, but hey, luck is one thing and speed is another. And he is blowing Brooke Tatnell and company away at the moment. Through he comes, 13.32 seconds. Blisteringly fast times. Remember, a 14.0 was auto action fast time. Brooke Tatnell chasing, but will be happy up in 2nd. Garry Rush now begins to pressure. The 16 car of Cobby down the back. Rushy looking to progress, but can't do it. Dennis Burford maintains 3rd. Wayne Bunker 4th. Max Dumesny 5th. Todd Wanless 6th. Then we look back to Alan Haynes from Jamie Cobby, Garry Rush, Peter Smith, and Skip Jackson, who has not been able to make any impression at all on this field from the rear. He's been eating some serious dirt as he works into turn number 1, but remember, he does hold 66 points already. The white flag is now out as Dennis Burford comes through in third position. But race fans, Brad Haywood will grab 25 points. Great effort. Brooke Tatnell finishes second. Fine drive. Dennis Burford will finish third. Wayne Bunker fourth. Max Dumesny fifth. Todd Wanless for sixth. Alan Haynes seventh. Jamie Cobby eighth. Garry Rush ninth. Peter Smith 10th. And Skip Jackson, unable to do anything, finishes in 11th position.
Nathan McDonald, Phil March, Trevor Green and Dave McFadden in the number 77 Shell Helix car. Down from the Northern Territory, bring up the tail of the field. What we have here now is under starters orders. Green light on, our race leader Colin Bulmer. We've got a race start round the outside. Scott Milling from Kalgoorlie runs it down. Darryl Downing in the number 97 car runs with him. Go Darryl, say the South Australians. Scott Milling, Darryl. Oh, David Anderson is in trouble and got out of it. Big time trouble. But our race leader, Scott Milling, Darryl Downing. Look at Phil March working on the outside of Colin Boomer. Crisscrosses Colin Boomer and here's Phil March down the inside now. And runs the car up into third place. Strong run from
Milling's
Phil
out.
March.
Milling's out down the back straight, Jim.
Scott Milling out of the race. Our race leader now is Darryl Downing. Gone. Les March. Here is Mark Reuter. We've got 3 South Australians out in front being chased by David Anderson and young Daryl Cricky in the number 95 car. David Anderson running up in fourth for Rat Radiators. Here comes Darryl Downing, the number 97 car. Phil March. Mark Reuter, the action, the pace is on. It is very, very fast. Our race leader is Darryl Downing. We got a time clock ticking away on Darryl Downing. This guy is cooking in the number 97 car, I'm sorry.
13.14 seconds, 5 laps now remaining for Darryl. I have got the stopwatch on Trevor Green as well. The South Australian going well, has passed a few cars. Darryl again, 13.06. This track super hooky at the moment. They'll be in the 12-second bracket. Out of turn number 4 comes Darryl Downing once again, a 13.32. Phil March, it's been a blinding performance from Marchie. Has come from almost rear of field and will pick up some very valuable points. 20 if he can stay where he is. Mark Reuter's done well. He's in third. Ando, after he and Marchie got together, may feel a little unlucky back in 4th position, but that's racing. Then we got Darryl Cricky, Trevor Green, Nathan McDonald, Colin Bulmer and Dave McFadden. As the white flag comes out, 13.72 seconds for Darryl last time around. What a huge confidence booster this one will be. He's going to take top points as he comes out of turn number 4. Congratulations, Darryl Downing, good effort. Phil March, masterful drive for second. Real aggressive stuff. He's not going to sit back anymore. Marchie's going to go full bore and on the attack tonight. There's no doubt about that. Reuter for third. Mark Reuter in the 95 car for ROH Wheels. Then it was Ando. David Anderson from Darryl Cricky. Trevor Green, Nathan McDonald, Colin Bulmer. And Dave McFadden looks to have expired.
Van Bremen and Joel Knott off the third line. Danny Smith, Barry Lawrence and Andrew Shirley tailing out the fields. We get set to go. Tony Bartlett rolls them around. It looks like a green light. Anthony Lambert in the ex-Greg Hotnet car now. Hooked the car in, as did everybody. The loser in that was Marty Perovich. Danny Smith gone forward already, up into 5th spot. The mover in the pack, Danny Smith. Our race leader is Anthony Lambert, Tony Bartlett in second, Brett Squires third, Mike Graham Bennett third. Danny Smith now up to 4th, fighting hammer and tongue with a 16-year-old sensation, Joel Knott in the number 44 car. The race is back in the pack between second place Tony Bartlett and Brett Squires. Brett Squires working over the inside, trying to muscle his way through on Tony Bartlett. But Tony Bartlett not having any of that. Here comes round the outside of Joel Knott, the 28 car off. Barry Lawrence back in the pack. Barry Lawrence is really hooked up and running hard here tonight at Speedway Park. Down the back straight away though, it's just all Anthony Lambert in the number 77 car. We got a car round at the back of the pack. That is Marty Perovich, has spun the car to a stop. Has he been deemed in a awkward position? He has been deemed in an awkward position, and unfortunately for the field, the race has been stopped to remove Marty Perovich. Eddie Smith 4th, And Anthony Lambert now goes, as does the rest of the field. Anthony Lambert brings the car off turn 4, faces the green flag, Tony Bartlett. Danny Smith looking for an outside run, has got by Brett Squires, loads up Tony Bartlett, carries the speed off the turn big time. Sensational run. Look at Brett Squires fighting back on the inside. Doesn't worry Danny Smith one bit. He looks for an outside run. Crisscrosses Tony Bartlett. Smoked him on the inside. Danny Smith up into second place. Our race leader Anthony Lambert in the number 77 car with Danny Smith honking right behind him.
5 to go in through turns 1 and 2. Yellow is out. Shirley is pointing towards the concrete in turn number 4. Car number 95, it looks to have some definite suspension damage down there.
He's given up. He's just taken his collar off. So he's getting ready to get out of the car. The car was running. It looks to have a right rear problem, I think I can see from here.
Yeah, there's no clearance between the vehicle and the terra firma at all. You dropped the torsion bar stop or something of that nature. It's the 38-year-old from Danville, Indiana. I reckon he's the man with 6 on the board. Into turns 3 and 4 immediately. Smith goes around the outside of Tony Bartlett. Sheer horsepower. He'll be looking to do the same thing to Lambert, and he's done it. Danny Smith, magnificent stuff, goes wide, now pitches the car around, and it's looking a dream at the moment as he works mid-track through 1 and 2. Lambert now begins to rock and roll a little bit. Behind them we got Tony Bartlett, Brett Squires from Barry Lawrence, then it's Van Bremen, followed by Joel Knott and Perovich. But you watch these times, wouldn't surprise me if Danny Smith edged into the 12-second bracket. Shower of sparks there between Squires and Lawrence. The latter has picked up the foremost position. Bartlett has flipped in 3. I think something most definitely broke on that vehicle before it sent him into the wall, because he was heading in there, and the impact wasn't all that severe. It was enough for the car to flip, but I'd say something's definitely broken on the Tony Bartlett car. It's a solid red light situation.
Yeah, he was definitely heading in there before it happened. He looked to have turning in trouble into turn 3. That's the way I saw it as he went.
To plant the boot any second now. He's making them sweat it out. Now down goes the hammer. And just watch him rocket away from this field in lap record-setting pace, I'd reckon. The seconds are ticking away. Out of turn number 2. The sign of a good setup, folks. You watch that race car. It almost appears to be on rails. Just have a look how smooth it is in comparison to the rest of the cars. 13.46 seconds. Anthony Lambert now begins to work mid-track. Brett Squires doing his best to dislodge the Queensland competitor from second. Barry Lawrence, meanwhile, applies some pressure to Squires. Behind them, we've still got Van Bremen. Then we look back towards Joel Knott, and he's being chased by Marty Perovich. But, folks, the white flag is now on display for dashing Danny Smith. 13.20. Had a good season here last season, and this is his 14th visit down under. Loves this place, there's no doubt about it. Here's the checkered flag. Effortless performance, or so it appeared. Danny Smith. Second spot, Anthony Lambert. Third, Brett Squires. Fourth, Barry Lawrence. Fifth, Van Bremen. Then it was Joel Knott from Marty Perovich. So that certainly sounds an ominous early warning to his rivals. Just and for January the 3rd, the next meeting for World Series Sprint Cars here at Speedway City, although he did set auto action quick time. So the 4th event set to get underway. We now have the green light, and Joan Miller should rocket into the lead. The 6 of Rove goes around a couple of times. Yellow is on. Part in this event. So what we're left with at this stage, the 3 of Sloper now on pole position, the 7 of Joan Miller. Very quick grandmother, let me assure you. Tony Lowby back there in 3. Rod Burton in there somewhere as well, but we now do have the start. So it's Sloper versus Joan Miller into turn number 1. Tony Lowby tucks into 3rd position. Back behind them we've got 16 car of Paul Sheen. Darryl Lorna now in 21. Works to the outside, in fact, more mid-track as he comes out of turn number 4. Yeah, the surface is a little slippery at the moment, but towards the end of this one, and when we get the next heat of supers out there, you watch it really come in. It'll come in and it'll stay in for the sprinters when they come out for their second round of heat races. Joey Miller in the Pontiac comes through once again, representing Blair Arthur Auto Parts. But the chase is on in earnest. The 3 of Jason Sloper, her nearest rival at this stage as they approach corner number 3. 2-car of Tony Lauby continues to run his Plaza Crash Dialer Tow sponsored Pontiac in 3rd. It's a big Falcon of Lorna now bearing down on them. The 77 of Bill Miller just hovering back there in 5th position. Then we look back to the 16 of Sheen battling with Keane and his Monza. Then it's Rofe in 6th, and the 53 of John Burton, Murray Bridge 53, John Burton, currently languishing at the tail of the pack. But it should be pointed out, the modified sedans nowhere near the amount of grunt as the open class tin tops, so it's tough for them, especially with a tacky track. Let's have a look at some action here in turn number 1. Darryl Lorna in 21 rounds up Jason Sloper. Bill Miller in almost an identical time and fashion does a job on Tony Lauby as they approach turn number 3. So this one could go down to the wire. We're looking at 4 remaining laps. Joan Miller out in front, but Darryl Lorna in 21 now champing at the bit for the lead in this one. Wants clear racetrack. Out of the second turn, will look to storm up the inside in 3. Thought he had a bit of an opening there, but he decided not to go for it. Knows there's a few laps up his sleeve, perhaps, as they storm into turn number 1. Let's see whether Joan Miller can hang on. Lorna this time hugs the pole line, but he's forced to get out of the bucket. They work down into 3 again. Joan making that car very hard to pass, but now drifts up a little on the track. Lorna should jump at this opportunity, and he does. So the 21 Falcon has hit the lead. Joan back to second. Jason Sloper now sizing up his chances of getting through on Joan in turn number 3. I think he's going to do it. Thought for a second they were going to trade a little bit of paint and panel work, but it did not occur. Our son Bill moves to the inside of Mum Joan and says, see you, Mum, I'm off. I'm chasing Sloper and I'm chasing Lorna for the win. But the checkered flag is about to come out, and Darryl Lorna will grab victory in this heat race. A good drive from the rear of field. Jason Sloper just hangs on for second. Bill Miller for third, from Joan Miller in 4th. Then it was Tony Lauby in 2, from a fast finishing Andrew Keane in car number 10. Car number 6 of Bruce Rofe was down 1. And there's the 53 of John Burton coming around, followed in by Paul Sheen. Paul Sheen driving car number 6. All now ready for a start. I dare say Steve Stewart will be very tough to beat indeed from outside front row. He powers his way clear into turn number 1. We can see that out after him is the 62 of Kim Cottrell. He'll want to stay right in touch with Stewart as they work turns 3 and 4. A bit of a coming together there down the back. I think Steve Vaughan may have been involved in car number 67. Out in front and showing them how it should be done is Steve Stewart. He's been very tough to beat ever since he purchased the ex-John Soary's Team Camaro that the Yanks campaigned here, as it was known, of course, Speedway Park in those days, now Speedway City. Out of the second bend, Steve Stewart continues out in front. Cottrell's got some problems at Pontiac, really was fishtailing down the back straight. And Steve Vaughan, well, he's planted it into the wall down in turn number 1 in car number 67. Looks as though he is going to remove his vehicle from that rather precarious position under his own steam, which is always a good sign. Caruso is how the field will come in. Watch that beautiful looking Firebird of Peter Drew in car number 8. He'll be looking to keep it nice and clean. I was here when he daylighted the car and debuted it at one of the sprint car meetings about 6 weeks ago. Was taking it rather gingerly. But we know that he's a pretty fiery customer, is Drewy. Has won his share of feature races around this circuit. Looks to be finding some good form now. Out in front for Dry Creek Wreckers and West Torrens Dyno Centre, it's Steve Stewart. This Camaro will take a ton of beating this evening. Loves the drivey track. Down the main stretch, 16.58. There's the 62. Pontiac Firebird of Kim Cottrell. Another Pontiac, that of Rocky Caruso, sits back in third. Then it's Peter Drew from Graham Cowlin, Ian Layson, Peter Mason, first of the modified sedans from Steve Cowie and Martin Rams. The latter just drifting up very close indeed to the concrete. Last time around for Steve. 16.71 seconds as he continues to motor away from the pack. He comes through now. And there's 4 remaining, 16.46 seconds. He's coming up to put a lap on Steve Cowie in 32. Almost puts a couple of wheels on the infield as he blows on by. It looks as though the number of entries in the modified sedans were down a little bit. And, as a result, organisers have chosen to run the modifieds and the fully blown supers under the one bracket. We're out to about 366 cubic inches. These supers, fuel fed via a carburettor. The white flag will be coming out very soon. I noticed down the back that Peter Mason has just bumped up against the concrete. Now I'd estimate that he's rolling around in the Cortina just waiting for a chance to bring it out of harm's way, at least as he rolls around up near the fence. It's really not too bad. Meanwhile, second position up the grabs here, out of 2 and down the back stretch. Rocky Caruso applying the pressure. He may dive to the inside in the 3-4 turn. They're still very close, but Cottrell emerges in second. Steve Stewart, we haven't forgotten about him, but he did win by a quarter of a lap. The 11 of Rocky Caruso for position 3. Peter Drew for 4th position. Mark Rams was down 1, 5th to Graham Callan in the Commodore in 42. From Steve Cowie in 32, Ian Layson. And there you have it. That was event number 5, heat number 2 of the Super Sedans.
Cars now set for this 4th heat. Living Health round 4 World Series Sprint Cars at Speedway City. Living Health proudly sponsoring and presenting World Series Sprint Cars. Scott Milling and Dennis Burford to lead them away as they rub wheels. David Anderson now shoots the car up into second. Look at Burford fighting back on the inside, the number 9 car. Side by side, David Anderson coming through the pack. Also the number 3 car off Phil March. Skip Jackson moving through. Max Dumesny in the number 5 car, trying valiantly to hold on to his position. But what about the pace from the front? This is Scott Milling out of Kalgoorlie, isn't he? Going quick out in front and going very, very hard. David Anderson in the number 37 car for Adrad Radiators at Wagga Mobile Plains, doing a marvellous job running back in second spot. Third already, Phil March. Here comes the man on the march, Max Dumesny, the number 5 car. This is where the race is. Rush around the outside of Burford also. Down the back straightaway though now. Max Dumesny closing in on the number 3 car off Phil March. This is where the action is in the middle of the pack. Let me tell you, sprint car spread all over the racetrack, down the back straightaway, coming around at half track distance, 5 down and 5 to go. Our race leader, Scott Milling.
Yep, Milling going great guns here at the moment, but Phil March, he's shaken Max Dumesny off the trail in position number 3. Ando not able to go with Milling, the West Australian, 13.02, and I'll put the stopwatch on an, as always, hard revving Phil March. Down the backstretch he travels. Look at the torque of that thing. Not shy on Mumbo, gets out of the turns unbelievably well. 13.36 from Phil March. Here's a go for the lead. We've got Milling. Now with Anderson to worry about. Milling has slowed coming out of 4. We've got 2 remaining. All of a sudden, Phil March and Max Dumesny are beginning to come. Here's Ando down the back. Side by side with Milling, but he has taken the lead. Margie dives under Dennis Burford. They're putting a lap on him. Skip Jackson's now moving up. Jackson to the inside. Dumesny slightly balked. Let's see what transpires. The checkered flag's coming out. David Anderson will sample the win. Second will go to Scott Milling from WA. Phil Marcher fighting third from Max Dumesny for Skip Jackson. A fifth position, which will help him out tremendously because he came out of 11. Sixth place to Garry Rush. Seventh to Mark Reuter. Eighth position to Wayne Bunker. And ninth to Peter Smith.
The start lap to lead them away is Jamie Cobby, and on the outside of him, Marty Perovic. Car's now rolling round to face the white line. Everything looking good so far. Oh, a touch between Brad Hayward and Marty Perovic. As we go through first turn racing action, heat 4, our race leader, Jamie Cobby, Brad Hayward, Brooke Tatnell. Here comes Danny Smith up on the inside of Danny Smith, and has got through, but we've got Alan Haynes down in turn 3. Off the racing light, green light stays on. Our race leader still Jamie Cobby, Brooke Tatnell, Brad Hayward, and now Danny Smith running in 4th. This is where our race is, as you can see. Danny Smith in the number 88 car using half track high on the racetrack. Looking for a little bit of drive up high in the number 88 car. Our race leader, Jamie Cobby from Brooke Tatnell on the New South Wales number 8 car. Jamie Cobby's got him sorted this time round. Jamie Cobby and the Jarvis Ford. The number 16 entry now hits the front straight away time. One more time. We are 4 down and 6 to run for Jamie Cobby out in front of Brooke Tatnell and also Brad Hayward. Todd Wanless working the inside of the American from Danville, Indiana. Here's Todd Wanless up on the inside of Danny Smith. Danny Smith covering his position on the entry through the turn. Todd Wanless fighting back the Australia one-car action of plenty on the racetrack.
South Australia's Jamie Cobby works turn number 3. Ringing the neck of the Dave Farrell-owned JSR. 13.3, Brooke Tatnell's in pursuit. Desperately wants maximum points from this heat race. Behind them it's the 12 of Brad Hollywood Hayward, the 88 of Danny Smith, the 1 of Todd Wanless, Van Bremen in 6th, the 52 of Perovic. But down the main chute with 3 remaining, Jamie Cobby looking very good. Putting his vast American experience to good use here. And at this point, looks as though he is going to grab the win. And if he does, I'm sure my mum out in the crowd will be cursing me for saying this, I'm sure he'll be lamenting what could have been in the first heat race when he was put to the rear. Out of turn number 4, white flag now comes out, goes to the inside of Marty Perovic. Tatnell dives in behind him, not over yet. There's about 6 or 7 car lengths in it. Meanwhile, Smith and Hayward go at it. But ladies and gentlemen, the South Australian Jamie Cobby will take the win. May have elevated himself a little further up the B main starting grid, that's all. Brooke Tatnell for second. That's a good result from him. Behind them, Brad Hayward, the 88 of Danny Smith, the 1 of Todd Wanless. And that was pretty much it. I think Van Bremen was in there somewhere too in car number 6.
Start this heat 6 in round 4, Living Health World Series Sprintcars in its 10th anniversary year. Cars now rolling round to the right line. Lead them away, Anthony Lambert, Colin Bulmer. Side by side, wheel to wheel, wing to wing the action. Anthony Lambert leads them out of turn 2. Round the outside, look at the whiz kid from Western Australia. That is Daryl Cricky in the number 99 car, just slotted the car underneath Lambert. What about the performance from this kid? Young Daryl Cricky, we got a car around, that's Barry Lawrence and Daryl Downing. Barry Lawrence, unfortunately, has looped the car. It'll loop at the back of the group.
Yeah, thankfully, it wasn't a barrel loop, though. I was just watching Trevor Green, Jim.
Winning at the back of the pack, put paid to that run of Daryl Cricky's. That was very, very sharp, very, very strong. Oh, he's now rolling round, wheel to wheel, wing to wing action we got this time round with Anthony Lambert. Running down the back straight away, orange lights come on, indicating that this will be another start. Warning going out to Anthony Lambert.
Well, you're not really allowed to get on the gas until you approach that powdery white line adjacent to the pit gate. It's good to see the World Series Sprint Car officials, as always, being very consistent with that rule.
Barry Lawrence has got a problem. He's got a problem in the left rear wheel of the car. There's something amiss on the left rear wheel. That could be.
Well, this is disaster now for the points leader coming into this round of heats. He will be devastated.
Oh, drama with the left rear.
May even drop him out of the dash.
This time round, racing action, Living Health, World Series Sprint Cars, Heat 6. Down the back straight away. Here comes Daryl Cricky one more time on the race leader. Look at him carry the speed through the turn, Speedway fans. Here comes the kid from Western Australia. Number 95 car of Daryl Cricky, Anthony Lambert in second. Race on between Colin Bulmer and Brett Squires as the 97 car of Daryl Downing tucks underneath Brett Squires through turn 3. Our race leader, Daryl Cricky in the number 95 car. Anthony Lambert, Bulmer and Brett Squires fighting back. Daryl Downing on the outside, as I said, carries the momentum up of the turn. But our race leader already gone by almost the length of the straightaway on Anthony Lambert. Have a look at Daryl Cricky in the number 95 car for LJM Racing. Go. What about a run from young Daryl Cricky? Right up half track high on the racetrack. Short turn 4 up to shoot the car down the straightaway. Anthony Lambert running back himself, but Daryl Downing in third now. Colin Bulmer, Brett Squires, Nathan McDonald, Joel Knott at the back of the pack, Trevor Green. Our race leader now is 5 down and 5 to go. Daryl Cricky coming down the back straight away. We got a big one. That is Colin Bulmer and I think Nathan McDonald. John coming together at the back of the pack. That was an awesome hit.
Yeah, there's been a fair bit going on between 4 or 5 of them near the rear of the field, and the red light has come on. Solid red light situation. For Nathan McDonald, you can see some damage to the top wing. Front wing looking a little bent as well. But they really had been going for it, the likes of Bulmer, McDonald. Trevor Green was in there as well. Trev running car number 4. And Joel Knott, he was in there battling. The pit gate now is open. You can see 6 on the counter. Let's see what Daryl Cricky can do. The West Australian with a big chance here to grab maximum points in the second round of heat races. Stands on it down the main chute. There's Anthony Lambert and that beautiful looking pink and yellow machine, purple and yellow rather, I'll get the colours right. Daryl Downing in car number 97 begins to harass him out of turn number 4, but Daryl Cricky, he has gone. Absolutely blowing them away at the moment as he flies down the back. 13.83. Brett Squires and Nathan McDonald just trundling around, the latter that is, to pick up some points. Obviously a couple of things slightly bent, but Trevor Green very well placed indeed. Perhaps because of attrition, but be that as it may, the green machine, they're in 4th position, will pick up very valuable points, may sneak into the dash. Daryl Cricky coming into this, let's see where he was, down in about 16th position, borderline coming into this, but I'd say we'll consolidate a starting spot in the A main if he can hang on for another 2 laps. Here's a shot between Daryl Downing and Trevor Green. Trev's got through, but Daryl fights back. Good racing for position number 3. Anthony Lambert continues to run in second. The white flag is out, and Daryl Cricky should come around and grab the victory. What an effort. Trevor Green's through on Lambert. The South Australian has got up another spot. There's the check-it for Daryl Cricky, but give Trevor a hand as he comes through. Brilliant stuff. I think you'll see him personally in the Goodyear Eagle Dash. Anthony Lambert for 3rd. Daryl Downing for 4th position. Joel Knott for 5th. Brett Squires for 6th. And into 7th position, Queensland 32 in Nathan McDonald. May be the pole sitter in this one alongside Bill Miller. So the Mons are coming up against the Pontiac. It's car 10 versus car number 77. We should be in the hands of the starter very shortly. Scott McIntosh ignites them into action. And it's Bill Miller in car number 77 that launches out to an early break. In fact, he's out to a solid 10 to 12 car length buffer. Second spot, it's between Andrew Keane and Darryl Lorna at the moment. Exiting 4, and charging down into turn number 1. Behind them we've got the 3 of Jason Sloper. Then we look back to the 16 of Paul Sheen. Going quite well, was staving off Tony Lauby in 2, but Tony now fixes that situation. Joan Miller in car number 7 will be looking to get by on Sheen as well as they work their way down into the opening turn. Behind them we've got the 6. I think that's Bruce Rowe from memory with the 53 of John Burton currently rounding out the field in the modified sedan. But it's Bill Miller. 17.49 seconds was his lap time last time past the strike. As we look back to second position, we can see the 10 of Andrew Keane. Andrew Keane in car number 10, the Monza, still holding down that runner-up position. Darryl Lorna gets a little loose coming out of the 4th corner. Then we look back to the 3 of Sloper, the 2 of Lauby, and the 7 of Joan Miller. And Joan getting quicker. Tony Lauby tries to cut a pass in turn number 3. I think the Pontiac may well have picked up that position. Yes, it has. So good going there from Tony Lauby. Hooked the inside in turn number 3. Through comes Bill Miller. Billy the Kid, 17.64 seconds. Romping clear of the field. He's got a solid quarter, nearing a half a lap break. But the question, can Andrew Keane hang on? Darryl Lorna is pressuring him. There's only about 1 or 2 car lengths in it as they rocket off 4 and down the main stretch. The 2 of Tony Lauby continues to run in 4th position. In 5th is Jason Sloper. In 6th spot, it's Joan Miller in 7. Then we look back to the 6. There's the checkered flag. It's already over. Bill Miller, if you don't mind, takes a commanding win. Andrew Keane finishes in 2nd spot. Darryl Lorna in 3rd. From Tony Lauby, Jason Sloper, and the 7 of Joan Miller. That was event number 9, the Super Sedans, heat number 3. Underway now, heat number 4 of the Super Sedans. It's a battle, Peter Drew and Graham Cowland in turns 1 and 2. But it is Drew that emerges as Cowland lifts the inside front off the deck. Peter Mason doing quite well, works the Cortina hard. In fact, too hard. Something has broken, a tyre or something in the steering. And this may bring out the caution lights as Cowland rocks his way out of the 2nd corner. Caruso had done pretty well. Rocky was up to 3rd. There's Stephen Murphy with Steve Stewart as well in car number 1. A fair way back. We'll be looking to go for it once again. Drew versus Cowland. Power goes down. Green comes on. Drew hits the concrete. Has taken some serious paint off that Firebird. It looks to be okay. Well, he's eased right out of it now, so Cowland will lead them out of pit turn. Brings the Commodore past our commentary position. Takes it in, mid-track. Seems much happier running there. Rocky Caruso's in 2nd, but he's got out of the gas and bumped the wall himself, allowing Stevie Stewart a clear path up the inside. One driver that we are not seeing out tonight is hairy Kerry McCarthy. I'm sure he's down in the pit stand having a bit of a look. It's quite entertaining, actually. I dropped out here about 6 weeks ago to watch Big Kerry go at it with Steve Stewart. They had a couple of good duels. Speaking of which, Steve Stewart and Graham Cowland look set to go at it. Hammer and tongs here as they gas their way out of the 2nd turn, flying down the back. Plenty of time left for Stewart. He's on the inside here, neck and neck out of turn number 4. Can Cowland hang on? Keeps the boot into it. Good driving. He's staying mid-track. Steve prepared to put it down on the pole line. When he used to have that familiar Pontiac Remember, he kept the thing down on the pole line. It was very tough to pass. I think he's got him now. Into turn number 1 they go again. A perfect slide job from the driver of the white and black Camaro. Very precise. Like he is the current Tri-City Sedan champion. Figured pretty well at the national titles. And as you can see, is the SA1 for Adelaide Discount Mufflers, Dry Creek Wreckers, and West Torrens Dyno Tunes. Steve Stewart making it look very easy out in front, as he's done for a number of years now. There's about 10 or 12 car lengths in it. White flag comes out. Down the main stretch again. Rocky Caruso in car number 11. Certainly hasn't given up the fight here. A more consistent campaign would be pretty hard to find in the sedan ranks here in SA. Stephen Murphy runs in 4th from Martin Rams, Ian Layson and Steve Cowie. The 2 modified sedan drivers, 2 of the leading modified sedan pilots in the state, going well, acquitting themselves nicely. Layson tried to move on Rams, but couldn't get the job done. The race is over. Steve Stewart, the victor, in event number 10. In just a few moments, we'll be crossing down trackside.
Thanks very much, John. We'll just take a minute. Ladies and gentlemen, I have for you our 6th highest point scorers at this point in time. Our 6th highest point scorer, Queensland 28, Barry Lawrence. Our 5th highest point scorer, USA 88, Danny Smith. Our 4th highest point scorer, Australia 1, Todd Wanless. Our 3rd highest point scorer, the number 7 car of Skip Jackson. What about at South Australia? Our 2nd highest point scorer, South Australia 3, Phil March. And our highest point scorer, South Australia 4, Trevor Green. But ladies and gentlemen, I've got a presentation here on behalf of Auto Action for the Auto Action Fast Time Man. Please welcome up here from New South Wales, Skip Jackson. Skip, on behalf of Auto Action, congratulations on Fast Time and your medallion.
Well, thank you very much. It's good of Auto Action to put this deal together. But my skilled engineering Gibson Freight team is doing a great job, and I hope we continue going the rest of the night.
Thanks very much. All the best in the dash. Skip Jackson. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome up our highest point scorer from South Australia, the number 4, driver of the number 4 car, Trevor Green. Congratulations, Trevor. On behalf of Goodyear and Goodyear Eagle, I would like to present you with your right rear Goodyear Eagle tyre for being the highest point scorer at this stage of the night.
Thanks, Jimmy, and I'd like to thank Bill McKenna from North Terrace Tyres. He looks after us all pretty well, and I greatly appreciate his help.
Trevor, it's your privilege being highest point scorer to draw the inversion, so take your pick. Excuse me, girls. 1, 2 or 3. Which one are you going to pick? He goes for the number 1 slot, and he has inverted the field. Only the front row. Trevor Green comes off the outside, and Phil March comes off the front. South Australians off the front in the Goodyear Eagle Trophy Dash. Thanks very much, John.
Thank you very much, Jim. Well, the best possible scenario there for Trevor Green. Good on you, Trev.
Green, orange light still flashing. We're not on a start lap yet. Be main to come our way shortly, as we're now on a rolling start lap to set the rolling pace. Phil March in the number 3 car, on the outside of him Trevor Green. Skip Jackson and Todd Wanless side by side. Off the rear, Danny Smith, Barry Lawrence. That's a better start now. Phil March up the inside, works half track high. Trevor Green running strongly behind him in 2nd place. Skip Jackson up to 3rd. Todd Wanless now runs by Danny Smith. Danny Smith tucks underneath him in the turn, moves up 1 on Todd Wanless, our race leader, 1 lap down. Phil March, Trevor Green, Skip Jackson hanging with them. Todd Wanless has just got Danny Smith back big time. Down the back straight away though. Action aplenty on the racetrack. Look at Phil March is around. He just cooked it big time. Our race leader is Trevor Green. Phil March takes up the back of the pack. We're at half race distance this time, round 4. Trevor Green, we are 3 down and 3 to go.
What a great opportunity for Green Brothers Racing to start from pole position in the 30-lap A main tonight. And Trev continues to streak away from them. Todd Wanless about the only other driver to run with him now. Poor old Phil March The car turned around on him, pulls a well stand out of 4. I'm sure he's stomping that thing now. Very frustrated with what's occurred. The white flag comes out for Trevor Green. His brothers and his entire family will be looking on. Out of the second corner, down the back and into 3. The checkered flag's coming out. South Australia makes some noise. One of our own is on the pole, and he is ecstatic. Todd Wanless comes out at 2. Skip Jackson from 3. Danny Smith from 4. Barry Lawrence 5. Phil March 6. You can see he is absolutely stoked as he cruises into turn number 1. So please put your hands together. Come on in the main grandstand. Let's see a big round of applause. They're doing it tough. Not a lot of funding and backing behind them, but they've got a pretty good car and, of course, an excellent team. Yep. Big Jimbo's already down there. The trophy girls taking their place. And any second now. In fact, there we go. Jim, down to you.
Thanks very much, John. Ladies and gentlemen, what about it from South Australia, the winner of the dash, Trevor Green. One more time. Joining me up here for the presentation on behalf of Goodyear Eagle, the manager of World Series Sprint Cars, Mr. John Hughes. John.
Trevor, great drive to win the trophy dash at your home track, and I'm sure that you and a lot of your fans and sponsors will be very proud of you. We wish you all the best in the main event, and certainly this is the best place to start from up front. It gives me great pleasure to present you with this trophy for winning the Goodyear Eagle Dash here at Speedway City.
Thank you very much, John. I'd like to thank the boys. They're doing a terrific job on that Bock Gases J&J. We've had it in the green welding workshop all week, and the car's running a treat. I'd like to thank all my family that have come out here tonight, especially my aunties and all that. They've never been to the racing before, so hope you're bringing me some luck. Thank you very much.
Come on, South Australia, get right behind him one more time. Trevor Green. What a great job he's doing. B-main action coming out right now. And John Cobby. Thanks, John.
Good on you, Jim. I'm excited, I'm sure, like a lot of you are out there, for Trevor. He's going to be starting from pole position. I know last season in the state title they brought the J&J out only to have a mechanical problem as they formed up for the main, and they treated the opposition up to that point. Let's hope that everything stays together for the Green Brothers team and that they can bring home the bacon. Of course, another South Aussie up in the first 3 rows of the starting grid. That'll be Phil March. You can't discard him. He's been going very well tonight. As the crowd reverie goes with his big full-length quarter-mile burnouts, it's you basically got to see it to believe it. But we're about to see the B main, and when it's over, only then will we believe who's going to fill positions 15 and 16, and 17, of course, as first reserve. Be some anxious drivers out there on the terra firma at present. We're just about ready to go. 12 are up on the scoreboard. Darryl Downing in 97, as I said, is the pole sitter. The Bundaberg Bullet, Nathan McDonald, is coming out at 2. We're ready to go racing. I think we've got the green. In through 1 and 2 they travel. One driver's doing a tremendous job. I think it's Milling roaring around the outside as they work in through the 3-4 bend. Brett Squires gets a little sideways. They work hard into turns 1 and 2. We can see that Max Dumesny now is beginning to pressure the 77 of Anthony Lambert. But out in front it's Nathan McDonald, Darryl Downing behind him. Brett Squires a little sideways. So it's Lambert and Dumesny. That's the battle for the first reserve spot as they approach 3, and Dumesny gets to the inside. But Lambert tries to hang on. Meanwhile, out in front, Nathan McDonald and the 97 of Darryl Downing appear to be gone. Dumesny's through into 3rd. Lambert now attempts to come back. Darryl Downing sideways, heads for the infield. Well, let's hope for South Australia's sake that he can stay there in 2nd. This will give Max Dumesny just the incentive he needs. He'll be breathing right down the rear push bar of Darryl Downing now as they come out of 4. One driver's into the wall, up and over.
Scott Milling.
Milling in the 50 car from Western Australia, solid red.
Got it up in the soft stuff and wasn't able to get it back down again. And of course he ended up rolling it across the top of the fences, knocked the front end clean out of the car. Not clean out of the car, done a lot of damage to the front end. Yeah. Nathan's just bringing the car up to take his rightful position as we get set to run the final 8 laps in this Living Health World Series Sprint Cars Round 4 B main here at Speedway City. Green lights on this time round. Stewarts didn't muck any around making the decision to put the green on now. Look at Max Dumesny.
Spinners, sorry, Jim.
We've got 2 cars around.
Come in, Spinner.
Yeah, 2 cars around in turn 3. I wasn't watching the action.
Dennis Burford, Wayne Bunker.
Dennis, 2 South Australians. Dennis Burford and Wayne Bunker have run it around, and the B main has been declared. B main race has been declared with Nathan McDonald and Darryl Downing. Nathan McDonald winning the race with Darryl Downing in second, Max Dumesny in third. And the B main race has been declared due to the stoppages. The reason it's been declared, we're up against the time problem here. I'm sure you guys want to watch the 30 lap A main, and that's what we're trying to do, is to fit that in straight away.
Okay, pace car out there cruising around. Rest of the field now beginning to form up. Track in exceptional shape. And this one should be an absolute boomer of a contest, Jim.
Yes, that's dead right, John. We're now forming into our racing positions. This is where it is. This is the start of 30 laps the journey, and we're going to get set to run now with one of the top fields ever assembled in World Series sprint car racing here at Speedway City. This is an absolute gun field, as you can see. Guys now coming through turn 1 and 2, 4 wide behind the pace car. As they come down the back straight away, South Australia, let me hear you. Welcome these guys to the 30 lap feature and send them on their way. Come alive. Raise out of your seat. Up. Down the back straight away now, they come through turn 3, 4. As they get ready to come down the front straight away. Let me hear you, South Australia. Come on and come alive. This is it. Send them on their way. 30 laps, the top field here assembled at Speedway City. Come on.
And they keep it going out of the second turn. Plenty of South Australian interest. Let's hear some support for the South Aussie. Trevor Green, come on. That's the way. Trev will be breaking formation shortly. In through turns 3 and 4, you can see Skip Jackson there. You can see Danny Smith and, of course, Todd Wanless on that front row at the moment. They've broken formation. Looks crisp. Car looks good. And now we are ready for the blast-off.
They get set now to form into their starting positions. We've got a race on our hands. Field now forming. Awesome sight as they thunder down the back straight away, idling only. You can feel the ground shake. Everybody just about in position now. You can see Max. We'll have to keep an eye on Max through the race and just see how forward he comes through the pack. That will be something a worthwhile watch. We've got Trevor Green and Todd Wanless off the front. Skip Jackson and Danny Smith off the second line. Third line, Lawrence March. Fourth line, Tatnell Cricky. Fifth line, Rush Knott. Sixth line, Hayward Anderson. Seventh line, Nathan McDonald Reuter. Darryl Downing and Max Dumesny, the rear of the pack. We've got to start. Todd Wanless now runs the outside line on Trevor Green. Half a lap down already, the Australian champion, the number 1 car of Todd Wanless out in front of the race. Here comes Todd Wanless down the front straight away for the first time. And we've got a big one. We got a big one. Oh, awesome stuff. Look at the damage on the wing of the 28 car. The car went up in the air on Darryl Cricky and he stood on it. And unfortunately, that brought the field down in the middle of the pack. Awesome bite on this racetrack. And Darryl Cricky had him up in the air, and action aplenty on the racetrack.
Well, I think as Maxie Walker might say, the big rush of blood down in turn number 3, dived underneath Phil March, then backed it around, the front end came up, and crunch. Through they came. The likes of Garry Rush, David Anderson. I think Darryl Downing was in there somewhere too. There's one other car just tucked behind the back. Can't quite see the wing from here. It might be Joel Knott, actually. Yes, it is. We can see that the top wing now much more clearly. And the racing under protest flag will be coming out. Let's see who it's going to go out to. And it's been shown to the driver of the 8 car, or so it appeared, in, of course, Brooke Tatnell, the Sant Souci speedster from New South Wales.
We're right this time round. As I just missed the BMW, we got a race. Todd Wanless now fights back. Trevor Green gives it to him down the inside. And here is Skip Jackson now working over. Oh no! Toddy's done it.
Oh, he keeps going. That is amazing.
Unbelievable. Speedway fans, have a look at that. You are kidding me.
Oh,
Awesome stuff from the Australian champ.
straight out of the X-Files.
Our race leader, as we get set to run down the back straight away, we've got 2 down. Our race leader, Trevor Green from Skip Jackson, Danny Smith running in 3rd, Barry Lawrence 4th, Phil March 6th, Mark Reuter 7th. Our race leader down the front straight away.
Brooke Tatnell out of the race.
Oh, look at this.
Tatnell out.
Awesome action. Trevor Green, our race leader. Skip Jackson, Danny Smith, Barry Lawrence. Gee whiz, the race is on. Max Dumesny already now up to about 9th. Our race leader now is Trevor Green. Let's find out where Max is. Trevor Green, Skip Jackson, Danny Smith 3rd, 4th Barry Lawrence, 5th Phil March, 6th, 7th Max Dumesny, 7th Dumesny already up there. Boys, he got some points coming his way. Tremendous stuff. Our race leader, Trevor Green.
Trevor will be approaching lap traffic very shortly. Darryl Downing will be the first driver he comes up to. He has gone. The Green Brothers machine has flown the coop. That thing is hooking up unbelievably well. The track's starting to dry off. Remember, they've baked it a little bit. They've been rolling, and a lot of the moisture content has gone out. But the J&J, driven by Trevor Green at this stage, appears to be going from strength to strength. Almost makes contact there with Joel Knott. And this is where Skip will be looking to close in. Skip Jackson, he's running in 2nd. Danny Smith's 3rd. Barry Lawrence out of the event. The FAI insurance car is out. And look at Skip Jackson closing in. Now Trevor gets clear of Joel Knott. Skip will be looking to get by. Danny Smith continues to run in 3rd. From memory, ran 3rd in his last appearance at Speedway in Adelaide. Then we look back to Mark Reuter in car number 95. We've got a roll in 1 and 2. Phil March has gone. I can't quite pick the other driver. Is it Max? Might be Max. Not sure.
It is Max.
Yes, it is the Valvoline car of Max Dumesny.
Mark Reuter up into 4th. Brad Hayward 5th. Nathan McDonald 6th. Todd 7th. Lights out, we're on a start lap this time, round down the back straight away. Trevor Green shoots him out at turn 2. Already Skip Jackson has a look down the inside of him, but Trevor Green fends him off. Trevor Green, our race leader from Skip Jackson. Danny Smith running back in 3rd. Mark Reuter 4th. Brad Hayward 5th. Toddy Wanless now running back in 6th. There goes Nathan McDonald underneath. David Anderson for 7th and 8th. Our race leader, though, is Trevor Green. The number 4 car for Green Fabrication and Welding down the back straight away. Hits the front straight away, washed a bit of speed off in 4. Skip Jackson, though, just sitting there waiting to pounce. The number 7 car of Skip Jackson for Gibson Freight and Skilled Engineering, just sitting back there in 2nd place, as is Danny Smith in 3rd. Mark Reuter right on the pace, running with the leading pack. The number 95 car off Mark Reuter right there with Danny Smith down the back straight away. It is still all Trevor Green as he hangs on. The cars at the back of the pack sort of being closed in on by Trevor Green. Trevor Green, our race leader, The number 4 car runs it down the back, as does the number 7 car of Skip Jackson. 20 car lengths difference back to Danny Smith now in the number 88 car, but action aplenty on the racetrack. Our race leader, Trevor Green.
Here's a move from Wanless to the inside of Hayward out of turn number 2. Wanless makes the pass. They've applied a bit of tape, maybe a new Zush pin to the front bonnet. It was starting to lift prior to that big gyration from Wanless. But the Never Say Die Queenslander now attacks Mark Reuter, who is running in a great 4th placing at the moment. But it's Trevor Green, the red Green Brothers machine, out in front by about 10 or 12 car lengths over Skip Jackson. You got the J&J chassis opposed to the Gambler. 2 very smooth drivers. And then 1/4 of a lap back, it's Danny Smith from Danville, Indiana. Then it's Mark Reuter, Todd Wanless in 5th, Brad Hayward in 6th position. 7th, Nathan McDonald. 8th is David Anderson. 9th is Garry Rush and struggling. In 10th, it's Daryl Cricky. 11th is Max Dumesny. Behind him in 12th is Joel Knott. 13th is Daryl Downing. Lap flag goes out for Daryl. And now Trevor's coming up to overhaul him. Skip chasing. Will look to make up some ground now. Danny continues to run in 3rd. Only 10 to go.
10 to go. Our race leader still Trevor Green. But what about Mark Reuter holding off the advances of the Australia 1, the blue Australia 1 car of Todd Wanless? It's all Mark Reuter though. Todd Wanless can't close in on him or run him around. I've got to tell you, Todd Wanless really struggling to drive up onto the tail of Mark Reuter. This kid's doing a great job in the number 95 car, but down the back straight away through while Daryl Downing now is Trevor Green, along with Skip Jackson. Skip Jackson not letting him get away. Skip trying to wear him down inch by inch, but what about Trevor Green? This is such an impressive drive by young Trevor Green. The form he is showing here tonight at round 4 Living Health World Series Sprint Car is sensational. The number 4 car just lights up down the back straight away as he looks to put another lap on Joel Knott. But I've got to tell you, we are 25 down and 5 to run.
We pick it up into turn number 1. Remember, they did have some slight problems getting by Joel Knott earlier on at about lap number 10. And Skip now is beginning to close in. Perhaps they've got the setup a little better. Who knows? The lap's dwindling away. Trevor trying once again to get by, but still a length or 2 between himself and Joel Knott as Skip closes in. This one is going to go right down to the wire. Track drying out considerably now. Danny Smith comes through. He's in 3rd. Mark Reuter's in 4th. Todd Wanless is in 5th. They work into 3. Skip Jackson closes in. Trev lights up the right rear. He's got 2 remaining. Can the South Australian team hang on? That's the question. The Green Brothers Racing Team. Their actions and the final result now hinging on their pilot. Lap flag out, white flag out. In through 1 and 2. Trevor want to keep it on the gutter. Danny Smith in a solid 3rd. Mark Reuter in a great 4th from Wanless in 5th. They're wheel to wheel. Race fans, Trevor Green's done it. Magnificent stuff. Skip Jackson for 2nd. Danny Smith for 3rd. Mark Reuter a strong 4th from Todd Wanless 5th. Brad Hayward 6th. Nathan McDonald 7th. David Anderson 8th, Daryl Cricky 9th, Max Dumesny 10th, Garry Rush 11th, and Joel Knott, I think, in 12th position, unofficially, but that is one heck of an effort. They went over to the west. They ran 10th at Claremont from the rear, but now they've done it. So, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, start making lots of noise for Trevor Green as he flies down the back. One of the quickest victory laps you've ever seen with the checkered flag in his hand. Well, the heart rate, I'm sure, would be up a solid 20 or 30 beats as he comes past. He's waving the checkered flag in the face of Wanless and co. He's brought it up to a halt. The team will come out, and it is official. South Australia 4, Trevor Green, and the team sample victory. New South Wales 7, Skip Jackson for 2nd. Third place, USA 88, Danny Smith. And fourth position, how about this? 2 South Aussies in the top 4. Car 95, let's hear it for Mark Reuter. A great effort in the time over 20. 4 minutes 48.40. The time over 20. 4 minutes 48.40. And the Supers are out there on the main straight now for their feature. Naturally, we've got to get through the presentation. We've got some starters here for this sedan feature. I may be able to give you those quickly. SA21, Daryl Lorna from 1. SA1, Steve Stewart from 2. SA77, Bill Miller from 3. South Australia 11, Rocky Caruso from 4. SA3, Jason Sloper from 5. Murray Bridge 42, Graham Cowland from 6. SA10, Andrew Keane from 7. Car 2, Tony Lauby from 8. The 7 of Joan Miller from 9. The 8 of Martin Rams from 10. 34, Ian Layson from 11. Car 8, Peter Drew from 12. 74, Stephen Murphy from 13. Mildura 16, Paul Sheen from 14. Now I bet they're glad, and very glad they did. Victory in a World Series Sprint Car Championship round, but more to the point, it is home track. But it's the Super Sedan feature now. We do have the green. Steve Stewart. It's the front out of the second turn. Rocky Caruso and Daryl Lorna touch. Rocky scraped the concrete. He brings it back down. Looks as though he'll get back into the contest, albeit midfield. But the scene is set here for Steve Stewart to give them an absolute lesson. And a real hiding to boot. He started up towards the front, position number 2. And honestly, I'm not sure whether they'll see which way he went. A big chunk of dirt flew out the right rear wheel direction. The Camaro in excellent shape for Dry Creek Wreckers in Adelaide Discount Mufflers. The 77 of Bill Miller. His Pontiac currently runs in second position, the pink and blue car. And we look back to the red. The 42, Red Commodore of Graham Cowland, with plenty of support as he pitches his car into 1. Jason Sloper runs in position 4. Fifth place is the 11 of Rocky Caruso. Behind him, the 10 of Andrew Keane, the 21 of Daryl Lorna, the 2 of Tony Lauby, the 8 of Martin Rams. He is the first of the modified sedan brigade. Joan Miller now looks to pass Martin around the outside. Should have plenty more grunt. That's what happens. I notice that Peter Drew is just feathering his way through the pack. Behind him, we've got Ian Layson, Stephen Murphy, Steve Cowie. Then the 16 of Paul Sheen, Steve Vaughan and John Burton have both been put a lap down, and so too has car number 6 and Bruce Roth. So the action continues here. I noticed that 7 laps remain in this contest for Steve Stewart. He's out in front by about a quarter of a lap. Bill's trying hard, and he'll want to keep his work rate up, because if he slackens off, well, Graham Cowland will be there ready to nab second position. That's first, second and third for you. There's our fourth place driver, Jason Sloper, going well. 5th, Andrew Keane. 6th, Tony Lauby. 7th position, Peter Drew. 8th position, Daryl Lorna. 9th, Joan Miller. 10th now, Martin Rams, but Ian Layson passes him once again out of the second turn. And roaring up behind them in a menacing fashion is the Camaro. The white and black Camaro of Steve Stewart, now with 4 remaining. Rocky driving quite slowly down the backstretch, looks to have a problem. A definite problem. And we've got the 6, Bruce Roth, just following him. The lap flag is out. Now officials will be very anxious to get this one through because of the strict curfew. Steve Stewart down the back, lunges to the inside of Joan Miller. Bill Miller, well, he maintains 6 to 8 car lengths over Graham Cowland at second and third. Bill Miller goes through on Steve Cowie driving the 32 Commodore. Graham Cowland chases. Peter Drew, he's tangling with Tony Lauby in the brigade. Still looks a little tentative in that car. So the white flag now is out. As our race leader, Steve Stewart, threads his way through the traffic, comes out of turn number 4. The dual checkered flags wave, and Steve Stewart claims another one. Coming through now into second should be the 77 of Bill Miller. Graham Callan will get in for third, and that'll leave us with perhaps Jason Sloper, who I think he's going to fight off Peter Drew for 4th position. He does. Drewy for 5th. 6th will go to Andrew Keane. 7th, Tony Lauby. And 8th position, perhaps Joan Miller in 7. For Steve Stewart, he too has put a lot of dough into the sport and is reaping the rewards with feature win after feature win. Jimmy, down to you trackside.
Yeah, thanks very much, John. Joining me up here for the trophy presentation from World Series Sprint Cars, John Hughes. Ladies and gentlemen, please congratulate on a fine drive up here in the 3rd place, Danny Smith.
Danny, congratulations on 3rd place. A pretty hard race, and you just kept hanging in there, but 3rd, well, it's better than nothing, and it's great to have you in Adelaide running in, and not just Adelaide, the whole of Australia running in this whole of this series. Congratulations on 3rd place here at Speedway City.
Thanks very much, John. Yeah, we weren't in a position to challenge anybody. We just kind of had our own little race and ran 3rd. I want to thank the Harrower family for bringing me over, and the guys on the crew did a good job, and I guess we'll take these 3rds, and maybe at the end of the season we'll win the championship. So congratulations. The Green family, they well-deserved win. I know they've been trying awful hard.
Danny Smith, thanks very much, Danny. Up into 2nd place, please congratulate from New South Wales, Skip Jackson. To present you with your trophy, Skip, John Hughes.
Well, Skip, it's great to have you on the series this year, all around Australia, and it's really a pleasure to present you with this trophy for 2nd place in the World Series Sprintcars Quid Championship here at Speedway City. Congratulations.
Thank you. Everybody in the skilled engineering, Gibson Freight team done a great job tonight. Terry Darville and Paul Felsh and everybody else that's associated with this team, they've done a great effort. But Trevor is a little bit better than us tonight, and all congratulations to him. Thank you.
Skip Jackson. What about it, ladies and gentlemen? Our race winner, Trevor Green. One more time, Trevor Green. John?
Trevor, first of all, I must apologise to all you people out there for running late tonight. We're way over time, and it's not really doing justice to these drivers to present these trophies when everybody's leaving. But Trevor, you've really been trying for this. I know you've said to me earlier that your goal was to win one of these races. It must be a tremendous thrill to do it at your home track in front of your home crowd. Congratulations. We wish you all the best for winning this round 4 of the World Series Sprint Cars Quid Championship here in South Australia. And also, I'd like to take this opportunity to thank our sponsors, Living Health from South Australia, for their tremendous support for this series as it goes around Australia. Thank you. Congratulations, Trevor.
Thank you very much, John. We've been aiming to run this series for so long. There's been so many of our friends and people that we've grown up with for so many years. We've just never been able to afford to do it or get in the game, but our biggest mission seems to be getting to the goddamn racetrack. So hopefully we can get here a few more times this year, and I'd really like to thank all the guys for helping me. They do a hell of a job. My 2 brothers, and they're just awesome. All the boys on the car. I'd like to thank Bock Gases. We had a little bit of a drama early in the year and one of our sponsors pulled out on us, and I'd like to thank Trevor Locke that took his time out tonight to come to the racetrack, and your sponsorship that you gave me late in the year is greatly appreciated. I'd like to thank Road and Track Services, Greg Farrell, Gil Cameron and Garry and all the boys at Road and Track Services. When I had no one that was going to do me motor for nothing, they were the first people to stick their hand up and said, we'll help you. And for people like that, it's just unbelievable. Steve Wicks from Ian Binding from Steve Wicks and Son, T&D Auto Painters, Green Welding Specialists, my mum and my dad, they're just awesome. And everyone for coming. Thanks.
Thanks very much, Trevor Green, ladies and gentlemen. Congratulating one more time. On behalf of World Series Sprint Cars, we'd like to thank you very much for having us here at Speedway City this evening. Have a very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. and we'll be back here on the 3rd of January. We look forward to seeing you back here on the 3rd of January in the new year. Have a Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, and a safe trip home. Thank you. See you on the 3rd of January.